Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out top 10 most hated songs in Britain.
Prep your ears and pass the stress ball.
Never heard that.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 most hated songs in Britain. For this list, we press play on the most detested, divisive and downright annoying records to ever plague the UK charts.
Okay.
While not every entry has been inflicted on us by a British artist, these tunes are intrinsically linked with the UK in one way or another.
Alright.
But there's no place for novelty records today, so we'll keep the crazy frog to a minimum.
I've never heard this. I guess the criteria for the most hated songs are really annoying songs, is that what he said? So far, they've listed U2, Beautiful Day, a couple that I'd never heard of, Swagger Jagger by Cher Lloyd, never heard that, Chelsea Dagger, The Fratellis, I've never heard of that. Trying to think of a song that I absolutely hate. I can't think of any offhand. I'm sure there are some. Curious to see who they say.
Number 10, She's So Lovely, Scouting for Girls.
Never heard it.
Instantly recognisable within its first few notes, you couldn't move for hearing this song in pubs, clubs, shops and supermarkets in 2007. A debut record for Scouting for Girls, She's So Lovely charts the rise of lead singer Roy Stride's infatuation with an older woman, a story which is hammered home by a bunch of gawping blokes in the bowling alley video accompaniment. With repetitive lyrics and cheesy crescendos, it set a samey blueprint which the band have followed ever since. Heaven help us all.
She's So Lovely, Scouting for Girls. I've never heard this song. The name of the band, Scouting for Girls, is very dated. It feels gross. Let's just take a moment. I just want to hear this song for real. It's pretty repetitive. Okay, yeah, I made it almost halfway through the song. I could see why this is annoying. He says she's so lovely a few too many times, and there's all those stops in it. It's kind of like, feels like you're in a car that keeps stopping and starting. And if this was a big hit, you probably heard it every day. It would be annoying. I get it. I like the sound of it though. Good production. Good snare drum sound. I like it. Anyway, I'm glad this didn't make it in the States.
Number 9, Wonderwall, Oasis.
Okay.
British bands don't come much bigger than Oasis, but the 90s phenomenon gave one or two grating tunes, and Wonderwall is the worst offender. The go-to track for anyone who can't play guitar but wants to make it look like they can, it's a busker's favourite, but fans aren't always as enthusiastic.
Is that true?
While Liam's snarling vocals have inspired plenty of sing-alongs, Wonderwall is the classic case of an okay track that gets seriously overplayed.
Yeah.
We're sure we've heard it all before, and we're starting to have some doubts.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't say I hate this song, but I remember when this song was in the charts, and it was really annoying. Mostly because he's going, and maybe she's gonna be the one that saves me. Like, there's no dynamics. It's not connected to his soul, or maybe it is, and that's what his soul is feeling. I'm proud that's the most hated song. Like, yeah, I agree. I don't hate the song, but I don't want to hear it.
Number
Really?
8, Yellow, Coldplay.
Huh.
A Marmite band if ever there was one, although they've sold out stadiums around the world, Coldplay have always had their critics. And Yellow is usually the song slated first. Taken from the band's first album, it seems to drip with despair despite Chris Martin's clearly romantic lyrics. Of course, the song catapulted Coldplay to massive success, which might be another reason why people pick it apart now. As one of the most divisive entries on today's list, you either agree with Superhands or you don't.
People like Coldplay and voted for the Nazis. You can't trust people, Jerry.
Okay, I actually like that song, but, you know, it is pretty repetitive, and it's one of those songs that if it was on the radio all the time, it would probably be annoying. I didn't like it when it first came out. I was like, this is like a depressing dirge, but I kind of like it now. I like the chord changes. I like it.
Number 7, Let 'Em In, Paul McCartney and Wings.
No! I love this song. The heck,
Okay,
man.
so very little blame should really fall at Paul McCartney's door for this one, or at Billy Paul's for that matter. Up until those painful postcode lottery adverts, Let 'Em In was just another passable pop record from the 70s, but today's listener struggles to hear those happy-go-lucky lyrics without seeing D-list celebrities smiling stick-on grins on doorsteps up and down the country. It's not the only song to be mercilessly mangled in the name of TV advertising, but even Ice Ice Baby has got nothing on this.
That sucks. Okay, yeah, I can see why people would hate this song if it was part of an ad. I love this song. I think it's beautiful. I think it has a great message, but that's unfortunate. It was used for a lottery commercial or a sweepstakes commercial? Postcode lottery. Okay. Yeah, that's dorky. Too bad, Paul. It's a good song. I got your back, Paul. I know you're watching. I love you. Give me a call. Hit me up. We live in the same city. Sometimes. Let's grab a cuppa. I know for a while that Paul McCartney did not own the licensing to all of his songs, so I'm wondering if this happened when he didn't own the rights and someone else sold the rights to this commercial. Probably Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson owned a bunch of his songs for a while. Not cool, Michael.
Number 6, Everything I Do It For You, Bryan Adams.
Yes. This was so overplayed.
With a record-breaking 16 consecutive weeks as UK number 1 in 1991, this track experienced unparalleled popularity when it was released.
From the Robin
Bryan
Hood
Adams'
movie.
ballad hasn't aged all that well, and listeners are more likely to skip stations than sit through his heart-on-sleeve huskiness nowadays.
I remember when this song came out. It was so annoying. Yeah, it was from the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner. This song was everywhere. You could not escape it. I don't hate it anymore, but I definitely hated it back in the day.
Wet Wet Wet, Love Is All Around suffered a similar fate. It almost equalled Adams' record run in 1994, but quickly fell out of fashion, destined only for the dregs of late-night local radio.
Wet, wet, wet?
There's a lot to thank the 90s for, but just not this.
Why did they mention this? Love is all around, wet, wet, wet. I've never heard of that. I guess it's more of an honorable mention.
Number 5, Chelsea Dagger, The Fratellis.
Yeah, I don't know this.
The second single from the Fratellis' debut album, Costello Music, this song has scored scorn on 2 counts. First, it's synonymous with the wave of unoriginal, easy, try-hard indie rock which took over UK charts in the mid-2000s, ranked alongside the likes of Ruby by the Kaiser Chiefs and America by Razorlight.
Never heard that.
Second, thanks to its widespread use in various football chants, it's a stereotypical soundtrack for the big match. But if you're not a football fan and you don't dig the Giacomo ads, then it's a song to quickly skip.
I've never heard Chelsea Dagger by the Fratellis, so let's check it out. Great bass sound. Oh, it's annoying already. Guys, come on. Okay. I get it. That's not... It was annoying after the first or second do part. Yeah, I don't... A great bass sound, though. Nice and grungy. Oh, right.
Number 4, Blurred Lines, Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell. The ill feeling toward this track was by no means a British-only affair. Blurred Lines made international headlines with critics claiming that its lyrics and video were misogynistic and supportive of rape culture.
They also
UK universities
stole it
led a
from Marvin Gaye.
widespread boycott against the song, with more than 20 unis banning it from playlists at student events. However, those measures didn't stop Thicke from topping the UK singles charts, and the song was played as if on repeat everywhere else you went,
Probably helped
with the
him.
controversy seeming to aid sales.
Yeah, I remember this. They also got sued by Marvin Gaye's estate for stealing the song. It is similar, but I don't know. It's not that similar. Funny thing, I used to work at a recording studio in New York, and Pharrell Williams worked there all the time with his former group called NERD. So I saw him quite a lot. He was a very kind man.
Number 3, The Climb, Joe McElderry.
Never heard it.
It's probably the least well-known song on today's countdown, but for good reason. When Joe McElderry won the X Factor in 2009, you might have thought that he had that year's Christmas #1 in the bag, but nope. A nationwide campaign led Rage Against the Machine to top spot amidst growing resentment over the X Factor's stranglehold on the charts. And while McElderry was the one pipped by a protest, TV talent shows do have a lot to answer for in general.
Interesting. I've never heard this song, but I can see why it's annoying. He seems like a good singer, but another overplayed ballad sounds like. I love that there was a grassroots campaign to put Rage Against the Machine killing in the name of over this in the charts. I love Rage Against the Machine. I'm not gonna look this one up and listen to it. I got the vibe from this. It's not my kind of thing, but I wouldn't say I hate it. If I saw it If I heard it every day, I'd probably hate it.
Number 2, What Makes You Beautiful, One Direction.
I've never heard it.
To another alumnus of Britain's TV talent shows, though the sales success of this boy band is second to none. One Direction have smashed all sorts of records since finishing third on the X Factor in 2010, starting their commercial crusade with this signature song in 2011. But for all their fans, 1D have garnered a dedicated horde of haters. They say the group and this track offers little more than splish-splash lyrics, churned out tunes, and squeaky clean smiles. Maybe that's what makes them beautiful, or are they just abominable?
Oh, I have heard this. I'm on board with hating this one. Not my kind of thing, and I could totally see how this would get super annoying. It's saccharine sweet, shallow, superficial. But hey, it's a hit. Good for them, they made some money. I don't want to hear it. Who's next?
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable mentions, great. Never heard it. Never heard it. That's an interesting shot of his chest. No.
Number 1, You're Beautiful, James Blunt.
I do know
Our
this
Winner
song.
is another which speaks of beauty in its title, but delivers quite the opposite. From its opening refrain and mistimed intro to the heavy-hearted hook and awkward ending, it's basically one long whine masquerading as a love song. Even James Blunt himself has admitted it's naff, often suggesting that he hates it too, but at least he can laugh about it. And critics continually rip apart the video, which sees Blunt take his shirt off in the rain before jumping in the sea. At least it's in slow motion. We wouldn't want to miss anything important.
Oh, that's sad.
Do you agree with our picks?
Yes. I don't necessarily hate that song, but I hate his voice. I don't like his voice. He sounds like a hobbit singing. I'm sure he's a fine guy, and nothing against him personally. Seems like a lovely man. But I don't like this. My name is James Blunt. You're beautiful. Actually, really proud that this is number 1. Like, wow. Yeah, that should be number 1. Sorry, Jim Blunt. I know you're watching. I apologize, but I think you also realize that this is an overplayed, not that great of a song. I think you can empathize with the rest of us. I hope you're doing well, Jimmy Blunt. I'm sure you have other songs that are much better. The music industry is a tough industry. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're selling tickets and albums, but you're on the top of this list. Stop playing this song. I bet he plays this song at the end of every show. And he's like, oh, gotta play it again. You're beautiful. I'm surprised that I haven't heard of so many of these. A lot of music that we listen to just ends up being what's in front of us or what we grew up with, what was in the environment we were in when we just were becoming adults. And I was not in the UK. So U2 did not make the final list, but the Fratellis did. And what was that other song? Swagger Dagger, Cher Lloyd. That did not make the list. Let Him In. I'm surprised that Let Him In was in there, but I understand it was a lottery commercial. He doesn't usually license his music out for ads, which I like. I have to agree with this list, other than the Paul McCartney song. I can't believe it. Some new songs that I can learn to avoid and not ever hear. This was great. I consider this is a good warning for me. When I go to the UK and I hear one of these songs start, I'll change the station. Really interesting. It's amazing that we have such different musical charts. It's just kind of crazy that art falls into such a marketing thing. Anyway, interesting video. Thank you all for watching it with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.